Shalom, giving all the praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and safety, and much blessings to the Yakim that's pushing this truth at the four corners of the earth in all truth and sincerity and in diligence. Shalom. And got this article here from Brownstone Institute, all right, by a guy named David Bell. This was published October the 29th, 2025. It says universal basic income makes slavery great again. Okay. So I'll just get into it. I'm going to read this first paragraph, but I'm going to skip, I'm going to just read this first paragraph. Look what it says. Lord willing, we can get some edification out of this. Okay, because this is what, society is coming to. This is what, life as you know it, you know, is about to be. Men with the eye salve and men with the spirit of the Lord on them understand, what times that we in, because we're not like the children of the night. They sleeping at night, we're children of the day, man, being focused and circumspect, because really and truly that's what's commanded of us. Matter of fact, I'll start with that real quick. I believe that's Ephesians 5. I could be wrong. Ephesians 5. Yeah, Ephesians 5 and 15, it says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." Let's read it in the NLT. Let's see what it says in the NLT. This is Ephesians 5 and 15 in the NLT. So be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise. Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days. And you can apply that, make the most of opportunity in these evil days, with the opportunity to serve the Lord, get acquainted with the Lord, to get built up in your faith with the Lord, seeking the Lord, all times, man. Say, be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, because a fool, is part of why the building is on fire, man. Because that's what's going on right here in Babylon the Great. This place is on fire. You got war on all sides, uproars of the people. The economy is crashing. The money is failing. And society is crumbling. Okay, it's getting harder and harder to live. You know, so a fool is living like nothing is going on. Just sticking their head in the sand from the impending danger. Okay, so I'll get back to this article here. It says, it says that the evil of aimlessness. I once worked in communities supported mainly through the form of universal basic income, UBI. And this is what we've been telling you, that it's going to come to a UBI. All right. It says most money was received from the government for no work, or from mining royalties, where others worked digging on the community's land. There were walls black and heavy, no, having with cockroaches, while children slept with dogs on stained mattresses below. So this place was in real poverty, okay? And this was they governed themselves with UBI, okay? And babies covered head to toe with post pustular scabies, while the mother complained about a sore back. This was not universal, but not common. Other communities that stood out as strong and healthy had people working hard for a living, particularly in roles that reflected their culture, a very different economy. So I'm gonna skip, right? But I'm gonna start right here. So look, it says, now this is going into, that was going into like the, a community, governed by a UBI. I use the word govern because, so to speak. So it says the road, the road much of the developed world is currently on its towards Salaki. The road, the road much of a developed world is currently on its toward UBI, but without that potential for escape. But without that potential for escape, right? Because there ain't no escaping this. This is what it's coming to. We use this term develop in a technological sense, not a human sense, as it denotes technology rather than awareness. UBI will be introduced as a panacea, right? This word panacea means a solution, all right? Because if you're not understanding that, they have to get rid of the old system, okay? They have to get rid of the old system to be able to, bring in the new system, all right? Hence, New World Order, okay? Well, you're not going to have paper dollars anymore because these paper dollars they isn't worth anything. All right, so the chaos, and then on top of that, UBI being that solution due to what AI taking over jobs, okay, people losing their job to artificial intelligence. You see, so it says as artificial intelligence will replace a lot of jobs. The use of AI is increasing because it can accumulate wealth more reliably than employees. What was that? Salaki. Okay. It says, right. So machines don't need to take breaks. Machines don't have family problems. Machines don't have sick kids at home. You know. So yeah, humans are being replaced with robots, right? So look, it says Amazon plans to replace humans with robots will not only mean, Salaki, Amazon's plans to replace humans with robots will not only mean a few 100,000 human jobs gone at Amazon, but lots more high street shops boarded up and their employees and owners gone. Because then that's what goes into the scripture when it says that, real quick, Ecclesiastes 12. It's Ecclesiastes 12 and uh, 3. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, right? And the strong men shall bow themselves. It says, and the grinders, so like it, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows shall be darkened, right? So the keepers of the house going into your economist, okay? And the strong men shall buy themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. So yeah, man, it's not gonna be any work. It's not gonna be any jobs, man. They say, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened because the future of America is not bright anymore, man. Okay, it's a cloud of depression over this place. Okay, instead of trying to make it and get ahead, anytime you get ahead is 3, 4 steps back. Especially now, being how the economy is going, because it's all by design. All right, it says, and the doors shall be shut up in the street. So the doors shall be shut up in the street when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the birds, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So it says the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low. The door shall be shut up in the streets. So these what it says a lot more high street shops boarded up, right? And their employees and owners are gone because the economy is failing, being placed with AI. Online shopping. Everything is online, digital, right? It says this is why Amazon is moving towards AI and robotics to increase profit for the few percent who are its beneficiaries. By putting competitors out of business, the grinding shall cease. Okay, the what it says that the door shall shut up in the street because the grinding is low. Really? Shut up in the street. The sound of grinding is low. Right. It says, and this is happening here in our time. All right, this is going on in our time. All right, it's places where they've been open for years since I probably was a little boy. That's closed now. Okay, it says AI may be overplayed. AI may be overplayed or not, but what Amazon is doing will be widely repeated. So you're gonna have a lot of businesses that's gonna follow suit, man. Okay, it says the people out of work by and large, the people out of work by and large will be city and town dwellers who must obtain their food from shops or Amazon. They will need to be given money or food vouchers to do this. You see, they will need to be given money, food vouchers. Why? Because you're not working. So you're gonna need vouchers from who? Governments will provide these because they cannot afford responsibility for abject poverty on a mass scale. And many in government also shall mean well. People, but you're never supposed to trust thine enemy, bro. The tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. All right. So it says people will increasingly rent their housing from Blackstone. The hell is that? Or similar corporate entities rather than own it. Okay. Further increasing their dependence, all right, on the government. For a while, some people will play online games and draw pictures and grow token lettuce on their balconies. But knowing this is just window dressing on life. Then will they go the way of the communities in the first paragraph. Now, I read that first paragraph, right? Taking families and communities with them. So shit is gonna get real bad, man. Okay, life is going to be, it's gonna get bad, man. But this devil gonna come with a solution. It's kind of like you got all the because what they doing is they want to take out the middle class. They take out the middle class because you only gonna have rich and poor. All right, so like on Hunger Games, you had all the upper echelon people. They was look like they was living life, eating good. They on a whole nother side of the city, so to speak, while everybody else is living in these districts, very very poor. Okay, it says government UBI will happen. It already does to some extent, but the future will see it on a far also like it, but the future will see it on a far larger scale. All right, and that future that time is nigh, man. That time is nigh. Okay, it will not be a cash. It will not be cash handouts, but digital currency, right? But digital currency. All right, and look, all right, Salaki. Never mind. I'll show that. I'll show that later. This will be a tightly controlled version, as in a CBDC, because the government will claim responsibility for controlling the money it dispenses. CBDC is essentially food vouchers and intended to be. Your UBI will be yours as long as you use it for what the government allows within the time they allow. Because remember, this digital currency, okay, you ain't gonna be nobody stacking up. You can't keep a if you can stack up, then you will, you will. It's like basically, you know, you can have a middle class. All right, nah. So in order to keep, anybody from stacking up or somebody managing their digital currency to where they can get ahead of people, that's less fortunate. Okay, they're gonna have to make that money expirable. Okay, you can use this. This is your digital currency, but it expires on this day. You're not gonna have no savings to where you got all this digital currency just chilling. It's not. It's gonna expire, man. Okay, it ain't gonna be like you can just take. Say you got, 10 racks. You can just take this money in the bank, put it in there, and it's gonna be there in the next, however many years you decide to go get it later. Nah, it's not gonna happen like that. You're gonna have to spend this, and you only gonna be able to use it on what the government wants you to use it on. Which that's why it says, um, the title "Make Slavery Great Again," man. All right, but it's gonna be a digital enslavement. This is what's going on right now, man. Because all this that's going on when it comes to this technological or this technocracy is leading up to the MOTB, which is the RFID chip. Okay, so it says well meaning people are already building the social acceptance for this, right? Those suggesting now that the virtual society should prevent food vouchers or unemployment benefits from being used for sugar based drinks or tobacco believe already that dependent people have lost their rights to autonomy, right? Meaning that you just don't have no rights, man. Okay? You gonna be governed, by the government. Okay. Again, this is not at all theoretical. It is exactly what is so like it is exactly what this form of money is intended for. All right, to put the squeeze on you, to make life hard for you, to where you have to conform to what this devil wants you to do. All right. Most people in society will see this introduction as a good thing because they're what? Witchcraft. They under the spell of witchcraft, right? He's telling you, these people are telling you that they're going to take all your rights from you. Every right that you have, is going to be considered a privilege now, okay? It says, as they are fine with limiting the freedom of others if told that it serves a greater good. You see, look, in countries like Canada, if you protest against the government, you can already lose your right to buy or sell. Okay, if you and that's coming here, right here in America. So you get ready. You Israelites out there that just believe that you just gonna live life and just live. Hey, you just gonna do what you want, and we gonna just until Yahweh Shah come and just we gonna do what we gotta do until Yahweh Shah come. Like, but on the not seriously, not really taking this thing serious. You know, calling on a different name, or just really in limbo about things that really just don't matter. While you got this happening, like you getting ready to see life as a slave, man, right? As in a technocracy, right? Governed by draconian laws. It says, look, you'll lose your right to buy or sell if you protest against the government. That's coming here, man. They're gonna make a man an offender for a word here, right? And in order for them to bring you, to get you under their thumb, like they need, without them having to come, find you or anything like that, just get you out, get everybody in this digital web. All right. Oh, so you said this. You said this on this day. All right. We gonna take this from you. You ain't gonna be able to use your currency. Or you're not gonna be able to shop here because your social credit scores went down. All right. You don't have enough social credit score to receive payment. you know, because yeah, you the way your behavior seems that if you was to get any more CBDCs, then you're going to do something dumb. So you're not going to be able to receive payment because your social credit score is too low. That's just me speaking as a man. Okay. It says if you need permission to obtain the basis of life and cannot make your own choices on the pursuit of happiness, and you are punished for questioning those who restrict you, then you are in a master slave relationship, and it's exactly what Esau wants. He don't want you to say nothing about nothing. Remember, you will own nothing and be happy. Okay? In time, most people will become essentially a slave of the UBI provider, the government. This is the design behind UBI and CBDCs, man. This guy's on point. It is why very rich people, the people who own the AI and robotics that are going to make so much human labor super super superfluous superfluous see this as an excellent path. All right, the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor, man. Okay, all the above will not seem all the above will not seem at all dystopian. Governments will control their populations as part of saving the world. Saving the world is important and will readily convince a majority of the population that being saved is a good idea. Major witchcraft. We need governments to save us from climate catastrophe by stopping us from traveling as our children are already told. We need large corporations to save us from pandemics, including those that the same corporation laboratories may develop. We need ever more expensive pharmaceuticals injected into us to save us from the scourge of obesity, to save us from our own inability to control our eating. We are certainly we are so like where am I getting this word from? We will certainly need saving from mass unemployment and the inability of a large part of the population to earn their own keep. All right, and this is under this devil's rulership. This is witchcraft right here, man. It's convincing you. It's like convincing you that you're on fire, but you don't need any water to get put out. Just jump up and down a few times. You should be all right. Saving people is, after all, the government's job. As the last few years have shown, convincing populations to indulge in self-harm on the pretext of being saved is much easier than we thought. We will slip back into slavery, into a feudal system, because most people will choose it. That's right, man. Because you're gonna have majority of the populations bow the knee to Baal, right? Okay. And when I say but now, like I said, we're going to be in the digital system. We're going to have to deal with the digital system. But we're going to have to deal with the digital system until they say you got to take this and put this in your body. All right. You have to take this C hip and put this in your body. All right. That's whenever the bowing to the knee, to this devil society, I mean, yeah, to this devil's master plan, man. All right. For him is his implementation of the MOTB. All right. That's where you're gonna get the true acceptance, you know, of worshiping Satan, man. Okay. It says so we need to talk about the UBI because a lot of people think it is a harbinger harbinger of a great future. But it's something else. They think people will somehow flourish when they have nothing much useful to do. When they get money for being obsequious, not Quinn, ain't got no N in there. Uh, obsequious, I don't know that word. And there is no compelling incentive to get out of bed in the morning. Okay, because people get out their beds in the morning, to make a living, to keep the things that they have that they work for. But if you don't own nothing, you know, you ain't got no job, you receiving payment for nothing. You ain't got no motive, you ain't got no drive. You living in depression. Hmm. A temporary social welfare net is what society should do to protect its members and act with decency. UBI, permanent free money for majority. It is something else entirely. It will ensure that the vast majority can never break out of their lot and recover any semblance of the real economic autonomy necessary for society, societal flourishing. Because this devil he wants to oppress you. Okay, the powers the men that sit the nation that sits in the power seat. Let me say that. Okay, the nationality of men that sit in the power seat, which happens to be you Edomites. Okay, so it says, like he says, never can break out of their lot and recover. So that's what this devil's plan is, man. He has an agenda. The UBI future is simply a return to the default human societies through the ages. Man,
The UBI future is simply a return to the default of human societies through the ages.
just chill. Feudalism, right? A dominant social system in a medieval Europe in which the nobility held lands from the crown in exchange for military service, and vassals were in turn tenants of the nobles, while the peasants uh, were obliged to live on their lord's land. That's where I think you get the landlord from, and give him homage, labor, and a share of the produce, notionally in exchange for military protection. That's what America does. It's a different countries, different countries. So it says the UBI future is simply a return of the default of human societies through the ages of feudalism. All right, you're gonna own nothing, be happy. We're gonna give you this. We're gonna allow you to live here. We're gonna give you this money. All right, but your whole life belong to us. You eat what we tell you when we tell you. You do what we tell you. You don't do what we tell you not to do. You basically a slave. Okay, but without even the relative purpose found in walking behind the plow. Human nature leads us to want to stay on top if we are already there, or wallow in depression, see, if there is no potential for improvement, right? Because people get the, even now, people are like, man, I don't feel like there's no growth, I feel some type of way. But that's what this devil wants. He wants society of people just bugged out, man. Okay, so he himself looked like he's, you know, the mastermind of all things. Okay, depression, drugs, violence, neglect, and repeat. The UBI, CBDC future. This is the orthodox understanding from the public health viewpoint. Social capital is the basic determinant. See, I ain't read all of this, but we gonna get into it. Is a basic determinant of health and well-being. Nothing of this is controversial. It can just be awkward politically. Over the past few hundred years, many societies broke free of feudalism. This freedom has, but you ain't gonna be able to do that in the digital society. This freedom has been a brief time in the sun. This freedom has been a brief time in the sun. Uh, Accepting or rejecting UBI is a basis for fixing the rapidly approaching decimation of useful employment will did that right? Decimation of useful employment will determine whether the sun keeps shining or we return to the oppressive societal default, and it's gonna happen. Yeah, ain't nobody's gonna like the Lord is gonna allow this devil to get so far. All right. It says slavery for many will seem easier than struggling. Yeah, and far safer because you got people crashing out now. You got people crashing out now, and they're gonna look at it as like, well, I ain't gotta get up and go to work, and I could just still be taken care of. Like think about it, like jail, right? In jail, you know, him, a nigga in jail, he got somewhere to sleep, eat. All you do, he just there, but his life is owned by the damn prison, man. Okay, owned by the prison. So then that's what it's gonna be. People gonna think it's more profitable just to, you know, just do this and just live. Instead of having to try to do anything else, which you can't do anything else because this society is going to shit, to a digital society. Okay, so slavery for many people would seem easier than struggling because ain't nobody want to struggle, and far safer. Once dependent, the luxury of struggling may be gone. Right? Once dependent, the luxury of struggling may be gone. We need a real conversation before we turn irretrievable, irretrievably down that road. For most, that will probably not happen, right? So people are going to take this. This is from this guy. Let me read this guy credentials. Bill even senior scholar at Brownsville teaching is a public health physician, a biotech consultant. David is a former medical officer, science at the world. Oh, so he know what he talking about, man. He was working with these with the with them boys, man. Well, the well, I think he was the owner. He said in the few in 10 years, all of you gonna have a C hip implanted in you, man. So he worked there, man. He said he was a former medical officer and a scientist. So yeah, man, he's letting you know this is what it's coming to, right? And you will own nothing. Remember, the same person who this guy worked for said you will own nothing and you will be happy, man. Okay? Because in a time of an economical crisis, people are going to give away all that they possessed, right? When they going through things because they want to live life, man. When they got to make the decision between living life and choosing to live and choosing to eat, they're going to choose to live and eat and let go of these earthly possessions, man. Okay? Because what they're gonna do, they're gonna turn to the government for help. Look, Nehemiah 5. Check this out. Now, this was Israelites oppressing other Israelites. But look, let me read this in the NLT. I just want to bring this out to show the behavior, of people. This is Nehemiah in the economical crisis, you know, or when people are going through, when life is life, if you will, if that makes sense. Nehemiah 5 and 1. About this time, some of the men and their wives raised a cry of protest against their fellow Jews. They were saying, "We have such large families. We need more food to survive." Hey, and that's normal. You got a large family, you need more food. Okay. Others said, "We have mortgaged our fields, vineyards, and homes to get food during the famine." So, like, this basically said, we pledged our fields and vineyards and homes to get food in the famine, meaning that they gave away or they put their possessions on the line to obtain food. Okay. Others said, "We have borrowed money on our fields and vineyards to pay our taxes." So it's hard. It's hard to survive. Money running low. Money ain't flourishing. We belong to the same family as those who are wealthy, and our children are just like theirs. Yet we must sell our children into slavery just to get enough money to live. All right, like I said, these were other Israelites oppressing Israelites, but I'm showing you the nature of what people are going to result to. Look what they said. Yet we must sell our children into slavery just to get enough money to live. So you're gonna have certain people that's gonna give their children away just for the cares of life. That's how bad it's gonna be. You think you're gonna continue living in America like it's just gonna be all good, man? Oh, it ain't gonna get that bad because you never seen that bad. Hmm? You don't understand the power of the Lord, right? We have already sold some of our daughters, and we are helpless to do anything about it. For our fields and vineyards are already mortgaged to others. All right. So in the economical crisis, people are going to, you know, uh, uh, lose it, man. They're gonna make decisions that they thought they would have never made, man. You gonna have some people that's gonna leave their children behind. Okay, like it was in Egypt. In Genesis the 47th chapter. You know, well, they said we have nothing left to give, but we're gonna give our bodies. Listen, you're gonna own nothing and be happy, man. Watch this. I just want to get that part real quick. This is Genesis 47 and 19. It says, "Why should we die?" Wait. Okay. And you want to know something? Watch this. So we're gonna go to the KJV. Like it says 15, and when the money faileth, Genesis 47:15, and when the money failed in the land of Egypt, right? In the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, "Give us bread, for why should we die in our presence? For the money faileth." Right? So the money wasn't popping, the money faileth. Say, hey, it's gonna fail right here in America too. The economy is gonna crash any day now, man. And Joseph said, "Give your cattle, and I give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fail." All right. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses and the flocks, and for cattle of the herds, and for the asses, and he fed them with bread, right, for all their cattle for that year. Okay. It says, and when that year was ended, they came unto him a second year and said unto him, "We will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also had our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands." You see? So he said our bodies. So you're going to like what this let's go back to the article. What it said? What this said? I'll get it for slavery for many will seem easier than struggling and far safer. There is not aught left in sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our land. So, you know, we're about to see a time like never before. Okay? The Lord is really about to bring the plagues on this place, man. Okay? And brothers been teaching this. Brothers been, bringing these lessons out, man. Okay? So all you people that's gonna go down to Egypt for help, for that you you're gonna become dependent on that UBI, right? You're gonna come dependent on it. All right, because the cares of this life is good. You're gonna love your life here, man. You're gonna love your life here. You know, you're gonna look for this place to get better because you're gonna have hope in this place, thinking that things are gonna change. You know things have changed. Digital, the economy has changed, but you're gonna still have that hope of some type of freedom gonna come with that. Still in the new world order, hoping for the good old days. Mm-mm, that's not what's happening. That's not what's gonna happen. Okay. Isaiah 36 and 6, it says, Lo, thou trusted in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt to all that trust in him. So leaning on Egypt, what we know America is it's spiritually called Egypt, right? You go down, you that lean and trust in Egypt, it's gonna fail you, man. You're gonna put all your weight to lean on Egypt, and you're going to what be disappointed. It says you lean on it's gonna pierce in through your hand, man. You know, which goes to show you also, man. Listen, they're going to what want to put that C hip in you, man. You trusting and leaning on Egypt, gonna get that C hip put right in you. Okay, so you know we're understanding what times that we in, man. And look, I seen this on Elder Apostle Tahor's video. See, now I can't go to Elder Apostle Tahor video and have sound. Like, no, I can't look up no YouTube videos and have sound. I don't know why. So what I did was go download it. Now this is Elder Apostle Tahor probably posted this an hour ago. But this speech is from September. Well, when I went go do the research on it, it was uploaded in September of this year. So, but listen to what he says.
What we're seeing today is what I call turnkey totalitarianism. They are putting in place all of these technological mechanisms for control we've never seen before. It's been the ambition of every totalitarian state from the beginning of mankind to control every aspect of behavior, of conduct, of thought, and to obliterate dissent. None of them have been able to do it. They didn't have the technological capacity. Today, the mechanisms are being put in place that will make it so none of us can run and none of us can hide. Within 5 years, we're going to see 415,000 low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. Digital currency that will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply. Every right that you have is transformed into a privilege contingent upon your obedience to arbitrary government dictates. It will make you a slave. And what do we do about this? What do? We resist. I'm going to tell you 3 rules that you all need to know and memorize. Number 1, every power that government takes from us, it will never relinquish voluntarily. Number 2, every power they take from us, they will ultimately abuse to the maximum extent possible. Number 3, nobody in history of the planet has ever complied their way out of totalitarian control. Every capitulation is a signal to the oppressors to impose new forms of torment or torture or compliance or obedience. Every time you comply, you get weaker. Bullies cannot be appeased. It just encourages them to new forms of torture and torment. Every time you say yes, you're getting pushed back to a weaker position. That's why we need to resist today.
So, yeah, that's what this guy was talking about, man. All right, letting you know, man. Like, this is what it's coming to. Your rights that you think that you have is about to become a privilege, you know? So, that's what it's coming to, because it's the so-called white man. He wants to sit in the seat of God, all right, and he wants to, you know, that's what, man, you're going to come down with great wrath, man. So, Lord willing, you are edified. Shalom.